Hi, I'm Holly Henson. Welcome back to Real Florida Outdoors.
Welcome back here at South Alabama Speedway in Opp, Alabama, here for another Saturday night of America's pastime of asphalt racing. Here right now with Ricky Whitehead. Ricky makes up the third R of DR3 Racing. Ricky, Ryan Redmond, your driver, with whom we've spoken in the past, along with Dawson Redmond, his cousin. The three of you, along with the late Richard Redmond, made up the original DR3 racing team. I see that the car is sloganed or logoed now in memory of Richard, which is pretty touching. But it's a racing family, and you're part of the family, obviously, because Ryan is married to your daughter, Kayla. Let's start at the beginning. How did you get into racing? And give us a little thumbnail sketch of your history with racing.
Well, I started racing when I first got out of high school. Matter of fact, after my senior year out of high school, I went and found me an old car and started with it, and it's been, about every weekend ever since. It's just a thing that we do, every weekend.
And I've heard the stories. You guys raced around each other through the years as Ryan was growing up, and all of the other Redmonds were racing. So you guys sort of were familiar with each other to start with anyway.
Yes, we run, Ryan was running go-karts when he was younger with my brother, and they raced for years, and then they moved up into the cars, which I had already been racing cars, and raced against Ryan for years, and then I raced against him for a couple of years, and then several years ago I got to the point in my life to where I was ready to give up the seat. So we talked and asked Ryan would he be interested in driving our super stock car we had, and it just seemed that everything sort of clicked. We had a good car, and we won a championship. We missed winning 2 championships by 1 point one year, and we held the track record over here at Opp for a season, and just a good combination. So we basically have built from that.
Well, and here just recently, you've acquired a new vehicle, a new car, coming on strong. You're dialing that in. Just recently, been qualifying very well. Tonight, qualified 4th, and then in the lottery, you picked number 1, so you can be starting on pole tonight. Talk about that new car a little bit.
Well, it's a new grill car, and it just another thing where when we got the car, we brought it to the track, and the first time on the track, Ryan come on the radio and said, "No wonder we hadn't been able to run up front," and he just the car fits him real well, and we've been fortunate, very fortunate, I think, to have legendary Ronnie Sanders that has been helping us, on the car. He probably knows more about racing than I will ever know, and he's probably forgot more than I will ever know. So it's there again, every week we come to the track, it seems to where we're getting better. Now tonight we starting on the pole. That's where you want to start in a race. So we've come that far. Now we got to try to finish. So it's all coming together.
You mentioned Ronnie Sanders. Ronnie has worked over the years with NASCAR teams, still does. What we see out here at this level of racing is that you've got a lot of folks who are already associated with NASCAR. One young guy doing quite well out here is related to one of the NASCAR teams, and I know he runs in the same class as you do on occasion out here in Opp. So often we see in these small town racetracks maybe some things you wouldn't want your kids and your wife and daughter to be around. But when you start racing with this group of people, it takes it up another whole notch. There's a lot of class. There's a lot of respect between teams. You've got some of the smack talk, but certainly you don't have the redneck mentality like you do in some of the smaller racetracks. You're talking about stepping it up a notch in the kind of car you're driving, but also in the people and the demeanor of the people, and that's impressed us out here.
It is. It's once you get to this level, as far as a weekend show, you're about at the top. This is where you've got the young NASCAR drivers' sons, which are at the track every weekend. And it's just a level of racing to where it's basically, like I said, it's the top of the weekend stuff, and it is very hard. We did not, we sort of knew what we were getting into, but it's it's hard, and it's something that it drives me, as far as Ryan and everybody else on the team, to want to do better when you come up against all this competition. Just like tonight, I think there's 13 or 14 cars here. The top 7-8 cars in the field are within a tenth of a second off of each other. It's just unbelievable at the competition that's at this class right here.
So I guess it would be fair to say that on any given night, all things being equal, any one of those cars could come in with the checkered flag.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's really planning and your what you do and prepare, and then when it comes race time, just like we've worked, and now we're at the pinnacle of we're starting on the pole tonight. We didn't qualify on the pole, but we qualified up front.
You'll take it anyway.
Yes, we're we're on the pole, and now we've got the next hurdle is 100 laps of hard racing, and at the end of 100 laps, it's going to be the best car, and the best driver is going to be the one that's going to come out on top.
Well, Ricky, along with the fact that you are running at this top level for this track, goes a price tag. They say the only difference between men and boys is the cost of their toys, and this is, at this point for you anyway as a team, is not a money-making proposition. This costs you money every time you come out, and even if you were to come in first every week, without sponsorships, without endorsements, the cost of racing far outweighs any kind of fiscal returns that you can get at this level. So let's talk a little bit about sponsorships and sponsorship opportunities. At this level, as you point out and as we discussed briefly, there is that opportunity for feeder markets into NASCAR. So at this level, you're starting to get the attention of some of the big manufacturers, some of the big retailers. You see some of those logos out here, some of the auto parts manufacturers and so forth. At this point, you are looking and actively recruiting sponsors. What does it cost you on an average Saturday night out here, starting obviously when you left here the previous race, to run that race on that given night?
Well, it's when you come over and we start practice usually the day before, with the tires that we use and the fuel that we burn. A weekend you're looking at $2,500 to $3,000. Any given race, wherever you go, and it's it's very expensive to run at this level, but it's also it's a great opportunity for sponsors. You're at a level to where people. There's a lot more attention to this class. It's more of a feature show, and it's a traveling show. They have circuits, and so your sponsorship and stuff is really better than your local Saturday night racing, because you have the basic Saturday night racers is just it's an every weekend thing, but when you get to this level, you're at different tracks and you're in places to where your sponsors, can be in the town to where you're going. So it's a good opportunity for sponsors to come on board, and we try our best to the sponsors to to promote them to the top, because they are making this happen. Without them, we couldn't do it.
Now, when you say $2,500, $3,000, you're simply addressing the consumables, the tires and the parts that are expendable that you'll use that one race and they're gone. You're not figuring into the travel. You're not figuring into the cost of the car. And then on top of everything else, you're presuming nothing's going to fall apart or break down. You've got to replace a crankshaft, or you've got to replace a motor, or God knows what. And you're constantly upgrading. That car is in a state of flux. It doesn't get built and then sit there. We see you week after week replacing things. You even go so far, and this really impressed us, have GoPro cameras in the wheel wells looking at shocks and looking at the way that they're performing. The first time I saw you guys doing that, I flashed on the fact that that's kind of what they would do at the NASCAR level, and here you guys are, attention to detail. So bottom line, you're talking about many tens of thousands of dollars over the course of a regular season to really perform at that high level which you would want to do. Now, as you point out, there are some sponsorship opportunities, but there are certainly some perks that go along with that. Logos on all of your equipment, shirts and caps and jackets with logos and so forth. So later on in this video, you're going to see the opportunities that you as a potential sponsor could have by racing with as part of the DR3 team. Ricky, anything else you'd like to share with us this evening? I know that you're almost ready to get to work, and we appreciate you carving out this time to speak with us. But anything else that you'd like to share?
No, just any sponsors or anybody out there that would be interested in becoming part of the team. We like you said, we're a big family, and we sort of take the sponsorship as a family and bring them on board, and we would definitely make a good marketplace for them.
Well, and I'm glad that you pointed out the family. When in our conversation with Ryan Redmond, your driver, he pointed out that one of the best parts of racing for him was that it could be family involved. And when you look out here, you see Ryan's wife and cousins and brothers and sisters and yourself. You've got all of your family out here, it looks like, and on a given night, certainly. And that's a wonderful thing. You've got the opportunity to share this experience, to share the wins and the losses. And as you can hear right now, we've got engines cranking up. There's nothing quiet about being at the racetrack, and we're getting ready to enjoy some Saturday night entertainment right out here, what we call America's pastime of asphalt oval track racing. Best of luck going forward. We appreciate not just you taking the time, but being a partner with us and allowing us to tell your story. Even on the worst of nights, when I look in your eyes, you're having a ball. This is what you live for. It is.
It's this is what I enjoy doing. It gets me away, and it's hard work. We sweat down during the day, and it's probably harder than my job, but it's something that you enjoy. And to get out here with your friends and family and just have a ball, when the end of the weekend, it's worth it.
And at the end of the weekend of racing, you're probably ready to go back to work.
Yes, most definitely. Have to go back to work next week to make some more money to come back the next week.
Here right now with Ricky Whitehead, along with Ryan Redmond and Dawson Redmond, who make up the DR3 racing team, right now out of Cottonwood, Alabama. Here tonight in Opp, Alabama at the South Alabama Speedway for another night of racing. Racing at a very high level, albeit local, at a level comparable to those feeder markets going into NASCAR. And as the weeks go on and as these shows progress, you're going to see more and more behind the scenes of what goes on with DR3 Motorsports. Again, for Ricky Whitehead and myself, we'll be right back.